Of course, we don't expect a lot of performance coming out of range balls. We know we're going to get a lot different performance out of a tour premium style ball right out of the box. And if you listen to everything you hear in golf ball commercials, you would think that pretty much all the top premium golf balls are about the same. But this just isn't the case. So right after this, we're going to bust a few golf ball industry myths and have a little fun, so stay tuned. Hey, this is Steve with HitItLonger.com. I'm on a journey to hit it longer and straighter off the tee, be longer and straighter all the way to the green, and that includes leaving no stone unturned, which means, hey, the right driver, the right swing, even the right golf ball is going to help us hit it longer and straighter, or will it? Depends on what you believe about golf ball performance and what the golf ball companies tell us. So let's get into some golf ball myths. Okay, so one myth that a lot of people may not be aware of is if the golf ball has gotten longer, let's say in the last 30 years or so. And the only reason it's the golf ball of today has gotten longer, and it is, but the only reason it's gotten longer is because it spins less on the driver. So the actual departure speed off the club face has been maxed out for a long time. There is a USGA standard on that, and it has not exceeded. So in other words, golf balls are not any hotter or faster than they were 30 years ago. But with the multi-layer technology, they're able to make a really hard core, but a really soft cover and some extra layers sometimes in between. They're able to reduce the spin rate on the driver quite a bit. And that really changed the game to where now you're talking about getting as high of a launch angle as possible to match this lower spin rate. And that's really maxing out distance off the driver, but you're getting a lot of extra roll along the way with the added carry. So that kind of busts the myth for a lot of people that the ball is hotter or different. It's really not hotter. It just spins less. Another great golf ball myth that I think a lot of people believe is that all premium urethane type tour balls, or the kind of the faux tour balls that they've come out with for, quote, slower speeds, they're all about the same, right? And all you've got to do is fit the right ball with the right compression and amount of feel for your game and preference. And so this is a huge myth, and the golf ball industry really got busted and undressed by some recent robot testing that was done that revealed that not only between the shortest and the longest premium ball out there on the market, and remember, we're not talking about top flights and pinnacles and such like that, we're talking about urethane cover kind of faux or actual premium golf balls that tour players might be using, or a better player as an amateur might be using. But there's as much as 17 yards difference in carry alone. So 17 yards between the shortest carry, the longest carry. Let me tell you, the short balls, they're not making it up in roll. When you include carry and roll, you're now talking about 39 yards between the shortest premium ball and the longest premium ball. So it's amazing, because if I told you I had this driver, this brand new driver I wanted to sell you, but you would hit the ball 25 yards less, and I still want to charge you $399 for it, I mean, I wouldn't ever sell a single one. So why would you be buying a golf ball? A golf ball isn't even that big of a investment for a dozen golf balls compared to a driver. Why would you play a golf ball that went 25, 30, or even 39 yards shorter? It's amazing. So let's get into a few reasons why this 39-yard discrepancy exists. So a big reason that this myth about golf balls being, matching up the compression of your golf ball with your swing speed, complete myth, totally busted, and it's a big reason why we have such a big discrepancy in distance. So you have these golf balls that are lower compression, 80, 70, 60, 50, right? And if you're a slower swinger, you're supposed to get more distance out of this lower compression ball. Well, this has been completely busted by the robot testing, which found simply that soft is slow. So there's a pretty significant difference between the ball speed off the club face, up to 3 miles an hour of ball speed off the club face between the, let's say, the hottest ball, which is the highest compression, and the shortest ball, which would have the lowest compression. So if you're playing one of those, you know, mid-range, there's a lot, every company's got one. I don't want to single anybody out because it's kind of embarrassing if they've been busted. But those balls are going to go significantly shorter off the driver. Basically, there's no difference in trying to match up compression with your swing speed. Somebody who's swinging 85 miles an hour is simply going to get more distance out of the ball that has the highest compression, just as a higher speed swinger would get the most out of the highest compression. So it looks to me like the highest compression out there right now is about 114, and that's matched by a couple of golf balls, and those are simply the balls that go longer. And then you get the ones that are 70 or 80 compression, and they just simply don't go anywhere. They don't get hit very hard, and they just don't fly as far, they don't roll as far. They typically also have higher spin off the driver, and even sometimes lower launch. So you're hitting this powder puff soft ball that's flying less miles per hour, and it's taking a less optimal or less efficient flight path, a little lower launch, a little higher spin. It's coming down, it's not even rolling as far. So you might think that you would catch up in roll if maybe it's just a lower hitting ball and it might roll out and catch, but it doesn't. It actually falls even further behind. So you get a ball out there that's 30 yards less, and boy, you're really putting yourself at a disadvantage. So I want everybody to know this, the basic of that is look for a high compression golf ball. It is okay if you have an 85 mile an hour swing speed to go ahead and play with the Pro V1X. Don't let them intimidate you out of thinking it's for high-speed swingers, because you will get the most distance out of a Pro V1X, way more than you would out of something that the golf ball companies would like you to think matches up your swing. So one quality about golf balls that aficionados of golf balls will often complain about when I keep pushing them towards higher compression, they'll say, well, that ball just feels hard. It shocks my hands, it's hard, I like that softer feel. Well, as it turns out, that the higher compression ball just performs better in just about every category. In fact, the higher compression golf ball typically is spinning more off the wedge as well. So just because you're playing a higher compression ball does not mean that you're not going to get plenty of spin off of the wedge. It's really amazing that the harder the ball is and the higher compression, just the more it performs for you overall. So the whole point is you've got to make feel secondary in your choice of golf balls. You kind of got to get over it, because the performance of the golf ball should be number one. After all, it's not about how you feel about the score you make, it's the actual score that you make. And one more myth to bust is that not all golf balls are equally straight, nor are they equally as consistent. That's usually what you're paying for when you're buying a $45 or $50 dozen of balls. Is that brand is usually not only coming out on top with how straight they're going a little bit straighter than the cheaper balls, but not only that, not only from left to right, but they're also going a little bit tighter dispersion from front to back. So if you hit a 7-iron out there, at least the robot testing found, you would have the smallest circle that would contain, let's say you hit 100 golf balls with every ball, same 7-iron, same robot swinging. Some of the more expensive brands, they're definitely going to have a tighter dispersion or a tighter circle that you would throw over all 100 of those golf balls. That's really one of the only weaknesses of like the direct-to-consumer ball or the cheaper ball that you're going to play. Maybe it is simply because they just don't have as much control or overseeing over the manufacturing process, and maybe their tolerance is a little bit higher. And so you're definitely going to get a higher quality, more consistent and straight ball when you pony up the extra money for the more expensive one. So hey, I hope at least you've gotten a little bit of enlightenment on golf ball performance. The recent robot testing has been really telling. It's really telling us a story about what is true and what is false when it comes to golf ball marketing. You probably guessed that there was a little bit of give in, the claims about marketing, just like there is with drivers, but we just didn't know it was this sizable. So what kind of golf ball are you playing with, and why? What is the most important quality to you in a ball? Is it distance, consistency, accuracy? Did I bust any myths for you today? Would you please go ahead and leave a comment down below and let me know. Hey, thanks for watching. I'm Steve, and thanks again to Golf Development Complex in Moorpark, California for hosting us today. And hey, if I don't see you in the next video, which I hope you'll watch, but if I don't, I hope I see you longer and straighter down the fairway.